To the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting, Jim Goodman. We're going to take a look at the late pick four on the Saturday card at Saratoga. By the way, there's a reminder for you. We're going to do a special Sunday podcast on the big Haskell Day card at Monmouth. But for this Saturday, Jim will take a look at races 8 through 11, the late pick four. It includes a couple of graded stakes, and we'll start in the 9th with the Grade 1 Vanderbilt Handicap. And I thought this was a really well-matched group. Who did you land on?
Yeah, when I went through here and tried to check off the horses that you throw out, that's one of the ways that I handicap. Very few throwouts here. I can make a case for a majority of the horses, and we were just discussing before coming on to record this that sometimes the all button is your friend, and it might be in this one when we start talking about a pick four to cut down on some of the others. But I would give a very, very slight edge to Delta Bluesman. All 4 consecutive wins, 2 triple-digit buyers at Monmouth, and sometimes those triple-digit buyers at Monmouth are really, really good races. They tend to have low buyers at Monmouth. It is a speed-favoring track, and whether Delta Bluesman can transfer that form over to Saratoga, which has not been that speed-favoring so far, is a huge question mark. But he's been so good the last 3 races that I'm just going to go with him shipping over from Monmouth and then that last race in the Smile Sprint at Gulfstream. So Delta Bluesman is my very, very shaky pick. Could be the speed of the speed. He's going to need to clear and hang on at the end. AP Indian, the 4, was very impressive in winning the Belmont Sprint a couple weeks ago, and he's got the ability to track the speed, and I think that's what he's going to have to do. I don't know if he's quick enough to go with Delta Bluesman, but being drawn outside helps, and that's the way he won the Belmont Sprint. So that AP Indian has a real shot. Show has a shot. Has some class questions, but closed at Monmouth last 2 on a speed-favoring track, and that's extremely impressive, and that's what he's going to have to do here as well. And Holy Boss will be my 4th pick, just because 7 out of the last 8 races, he's got triple-digit buyers at many tracks, including Keeneland, Churchill, Belmont, and even Saratoga in this race last year. And in Amsterdam last year, he won a Grade 2 by 2 1/4. So Holy Boss is probably the class of race. I would use at least those 4 in the pick 4. Very, very thin choice, Delta Bluesman.
I started to go, you mentioned the Chubalicious last couple of races. I started to go there, took a look at Holy Boss, and it doesn't seem like he's been quite as good this year. So I ended up going to AP Indian, and it's not a real strong opinion. As you said, it's such a wide-open race. I just thought his last race down on the inside part of the track where he came up the rail to beat Marking, I didn't think was the best part of the track, and so I think that race looks even better than it does on paper. He's 3 for 5 at 6 furlongs. A little older, but seems to be maybe finding his best form now for Delacour. So I'm going to take a slight edge to AP Indian, and as far as the race itself, I would do an exacta box with that one, Chublicious, Holy Boss, Delta Bluesman, Anchor Down, if you can afford to go one more, Catalina Red. But it's a very wide-open race. Let's go on to the 10th. It's the Grade 2 Jim Dandy, a prep for the Travers later in the meet, and it's 3-year-olds going a mile and an eighth. And it is a prep, but often it seems like the horses that run well here will come back and run well in the Travers. I ended up taking Destin. I don't think there's a whole lot of speed in here. And I think Destin is a horse that peaked too early, and in trying to bring a horse up to the Derby, it's all about peaking on the right day, and I think that horse peaked too early. They had to give him too much time off before the Derby, and he ran okay, came back and ran a bang-up race in the Belmont, and now maybe with a little bit of a reset button here to start the second half of the year, he could be a big player. So I'm going to take Destin in here. Hearing great things about how Moy Heyman is working and that he looks like his old self. Maybe wasn't training as great coming into the Derby. And Kieran McLaughlin's horses have been running lights out in the early stages of the Saratoga meet. So it's a slight edge for Destin over Moy Heyman for me, and then Creator would be my next one. But I think with not a lot of speed in the race, he's going to be up against it here. Might have a better chance at a mile and a quarter in the Travers. Who do you like?
When you look at a race like this, you kind of take the horses and look at their reputations. And sometimes you overlook basic handicapping angles. What you said about Destin is exactly right. There's not much speed in this race. And Creator won the Derby closing, won the Belmont closing from way off the pace and just caught Destin at the wire. Much less speed in this race, and I think Destin controls this from start to finish. Mohaymen would be my second choice simply because Kieran McLaughlin, as I'm looking at the PPs here, is 6 for 8 his first 8 races at Saratoga. Don't know what he did on Wednesday, but this is through Monday, I think. So he's 6 for his first 8. Not too bad a percentage. So I think Mohaymen is a big threat, but I'm going to take Destin. If I go deeper in a pick 4, I would obviously use Creator, but it's a 3-horse race to me, and I really like Destin a lot. I think he controls the pace, and if Doc go wire to wire, he's right there at the lead with Mohaymen and overtakes him in the stretch.
All right, let's go to the pick 4, which begins in the 8th race, and I wanted to spread out in the Vanderbilt. I wanted to spread out in the last race, so to keep the ticket manageable, I had to trim it down other places. So I'm going to start with a single and either be looking good or out of it right at the start. Idiosyncratic for Chad Brown. They can love the distance and coming off a layoff, and that's right in Brown's wheelhouse. So the 3-horse Idiosyncratic, I'm going to single in the allowance turf race. Then I'm going to use all 6 horses I mentioned in the Vanderbilt in this order: 4, 1, 2, 5, 3, 6. 4, 1, 5, 6, 3, 2. Yeah, the Catalina Red's the last ranked of the 6. Then Destin and Mohaymen in the Jim Dandy. And in the last race, Double Dose is the win pick for Pletcher and Rapoli, but not a strong opinion. Glory to Kitten looks good. Smile Big, Antebellum, Newcomb, any one of those I could see winning this. So I'm going to go 10, 7, 1, 2, 4 in the last leg. So 1 by 6 by 2 by 5. How about you?
I'm going to go 3 deep in the opener. I'm going to use your horse, Idiosyncratic, is going to be the favorite, the 3. I'm also going to use Captain Moss for Chris Englehart. And Manny Freckle's been riding really well at Saratoga. He's got 3 or 4 big wins. Captain Moss, the 1, Idiosyncratic, the 3. I'm also going to use Raise the Bar, the 5. Chad Brown's other horse, who ran 3 lengths behind American Patriot. Ran American Pharaoh, I guess he'd be 1-9 here, but he ran behind American Patriot, who came back and won again last time out at Belmont at 1 mile and 1/8, and that's a big race. So 1, 3, 5 in the first leg. I'm going to go ahead and go all in the Vanderbilt. My rule of thumb in betting a pick 4 is if you could afford it, if you don't think you can cut it down past half the number is in the race, go ahead and use all, because sometimes it jumps up and bites you, and I've been a victim of that many, many times. So I'm going to go 1, 3, 5 with all, then I'm going to single Destin in the Jim Dandy, the 4-horse, and I'm going to go 5 deep in the last with 1, 4. Probably my top pick in there would be Double Down, but Smile Big, Newcomb, Gloria Kitten, double Dose, the 10, and 12, Dean's Ticket is my sleeper in there. 0 for 11 on the outside. Might get overlooked a little bit, but Gary Contessa can get him ready, and this horse fits very well. So 1, 4, 7, 10, 12 in the last.
Saratoga and Del Mar, so a lot of great racing every day, and particularly on the weekends. And then tomorrow, Sunday, is Haskell Day up at Monmouth, and we'll have a podcast for the Sunday card looking at the Haskell and all the stakes races that are supporting it up in New Jersey. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach. That is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.